Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. I hope your day and your week are going very well so far. Another week of NFL football is here, and with that comes another edition of Sunday Night Football. Got a really solid matchup upon us here, guys, in Week 4 with the 3-0 Buffalo Bills facing off with the 1-2 Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore, and I have a ton of great picks to go ahead and share with you guys. But first, as always, people, please make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and it really does mean a ton to us. We are on the road to 100,000 subscribers here on the Guy Boston Sports YouTube channel. We just hit 90K this week. Our goal is to hit 100K before the end of 2024. We need your help to go ahead and get there. So if you haven't already, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below. We have a ton of great content here on the channel. And the best part is all of our picks across all of our videos are 100% free. NFL, MLB, NBA coming up, WNBA playoffs, so much great content, so many great picks we're handing out here on the channel, guys. You don't want to miss out, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. With a new week comes a new opportunity to go ahead and make some money. We're coming off a 2-3 performance last Sunday. We're actually 2-3 each of our last 2 weeks. So 4-6 our last 2 videos. Not fantastic, but I'm feeling really good about our picks in this week's slate. We've been very close. A couple of really tough kicks to the nuts our last couple of videos here, guys, but feeling really solid about this week's matchup. I've got 6 total picks to go ahead and share in this Sunday football matchup. We got no time to waste, guys. Let's jump right into today's video. And starting off, guys, our first pick in this game slate, we're targeting the money line here. We're going with Ravens money line minus 135. We'll go ahead and jump into the outlier screen here, guys. Now, we're going with Ravens money line. Now, I know the odds a little juiced on this play. Obviously, you're free to take the spread, which is 2.5 right now, if you please. I'm going to play it on the safer side and take the money line here. This line obviously continues to go up. It was a little bit lower. It was at minus 125. It's now jumped up to minus 135. Available on multiple sports books. DraftKings minus 142. FanDuel minus 136. Available on multiple different sports books here. Baltimore might be 1-2 to kick off the NFL season, but I do really like the Ravens overall. They're a good regular season team. They're very close to being, a lot of teams you could say this about so far this year, but the Ravens are a couple of plays away from being 3-0. That Raiders loss was an anomaly. They should have beaten that game, beaten the Raiders and won that game. And obviously we know about week 1 versus the Chiefs, that Isaiah likely toe tap is the difference between them being 3-0 potentially and 1-2 where they are now. So kind of some tough luck for the Ravens. They've had kind of a tough schedule to start the year too. Besides that Raiders game, they also had the Chiefs and the Cowboys so far, although that really good bounce back win last week versus Dallas. Going up against a 3-0 Bills team here on a short week, coming off a massive Monday Night Football demolition of the Jacksonville Jaguars. The public I expect to be all over Buffalo here, but I like Baltimore in this spot. Now, not only are the Bills on a short week, which is an advantage to the Ravens are obviously at home here. This, to me, feels like a typical trap game that a lot of people, unfortunately, will probably fall into. The Bills, they're 3-0 with some really big dominating wins, right? They crushed Jacksonville. They crushed Miami. Some big wins. Why would the Bills be underdogs against a 1-2 Ravens team that even in their win last week versus Dallas, they almost blew it in the end? It's a typical trap game spot, guys. I know it's a road game. I know the Ravens are a good team, but the fact that Buffalo is a 3-point underdog here, or 2.5-point underdog, whatever, it doesn't feel right to me. It feels like they're telling the public, go ahead, take Buffalo. Take them. Go ahead. Come on, take it. I'm not going to fall for it here, guys. I like the Ravens in this spot. Like I said, Baltimore, they have their issues. They're 1-2 for a reason. If they were a better team, they wouldn't, no excuses, right? They have some issues. The offensive line's not as good as it was before. They've got some issues defensively here, specifically with the passing defense. But overall, this is still a very dangerous Ravens team that's starting to figure out how to incorporate Derrick Henry into the offense, which is scary for opposing teams, specifically this Bills team. That, to me, is the key here for Baltimore winning. They have to keep the game on the ground and dominate the ground game if they're going to have a shot here at beating the Bills. I do think Buffalo's a little bit unproven too, honestly. I mean, their one really truly good win, in my opinion, is that week 1 win versus the Cardinals, and the Cardinals are a 1-2 team. I mean, they beat Miami. I know Tua didn't get hurt towards the end of the game, but still, that Miami team, even in that week 1 game versus Jacksonville, clearly had some issues. Obviously, Tua being out makes them weaker, but even with Tua, that team had their issues, and we know how bad Jacksonville is right now. This is easily the toughest game that Buffalo has had so far on the schedule, so it's going to be interesting to see how the Bills face off with a team of the caliber of the Ravens. Buffalo's run defense right now is 16th in the National Football League, giving up 118 rushing yards per game. Keep in mind, though, that number probably should be a little bit higher because in their last 2 games, they've been absolute blowouts. So the teams they're facing, the Dolphins and the Jaguars, they can't really rely on the running the football. They have to throw because they're facing these massive deficits. So, yes, The run defense already on paper doesn't look great. It's about middle of the road, 118 yards per game. It probably should be worse, but they're getting these blowout wins, which obviously make the numbers look a little different than what they probably should look. I think if teams were running the football more on them, that number would be even higher. So I think this Bills run defense is questionable. Their passing defense has been top 10 so far, but again, looking at who they faced so far, this is the toughest quarterback they faced. I wasn't sold on the Bills defense coming into the season. They've been impressive so far. They proved me wrong to an extent, but I still have a lot of questions about this Bills defense, and this is going to be a really good test to see just how good this pass rush is, just how good this defense is. It'll be very interesting to see how they face off here with this Ravens team. Again, I think Baltimore should be able to control the ground game, control the clock, and control possession versus this Bills team. Look at the insights provided by Outlier. The Baltimore Ravens are 11-3, a 78.6% hit rate, in their last 14 games as a favorite. So there's a data point there to back up our claim here. 11-3 in the last 14 games as a favorite is pretty darn impressive. When Baltimore's favorite, they usually don't lose too much. So really good spot here. I like the Ravens here on the money line. I know that it's a little bit juiced, but really good team, really good bet here. And for our second pick in this slate, guys, I'm going to go with the over here, 46.5. Now, the primetime under is usually the play. I kind of like the over. These are two defenses that on paper should be better, but I think the Buffalo Bills have some weak points, and the Ravens definitely have some weak points. Like I've already just touched on, I think the Bills' run defense is going to be a little bit exposed in this game. I think Lamar Jackson could run for a pretty good amount here. I think that Derrick Henry should be able to have a pretty good game on the ground here. I think this Bills' run defense is a little suspect, and even their pass defense, again, the Miami game impressive. I think Arizona and the Jaguars wins. Again, I have questions. I need to see it again. If they come out and they beat Baltimore and the defense is solid again, I'll buy into it. But I have a lot of questions this early in the year. Is the Bills defense just this good, or has it been a mix of their opponents haven't been good and maybe just a hot start? I don't know. I have questions about this Buffalo defense. I didn't think it looked that good going into the year. It's been playing better than expected, but I have questions. With that being said, the public number and the sharp seem to be aligned here. 71% of all bets are on the over. 75% of the money also on the over. So it seems like the sharps and the public are aligned here with this over. Again, I know primetime unders are usually the play here, but I can see a path where a lot of points are scored. I think Josh Allen can throw on this Ravens defense. See the Ravens defensive numbers here. Now, run defense-wise, they're actually pretty good. They're actually the number one run defense in the NFL, giving up just 50 yards per game through 3 weeks. But their passing defense is the worst, even worse than Washington's pass defense. They're giving up 291.7 passing yards per game. Now, they have played 2 of those 3 versus Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow. Now, this is Josh Allen who's in that tier. The passing defense has not been great for the Ravens. So I could see Buffalo throwing for some touchdowns here, scoring some points. But again, I think Baltimore's offense kind of a good matchup as well versus this Bills defense. The Bills have the number one scoring offense in the NFL right now, averaging 37.3. Again, you add that Jaguars blowout in there, of course, it skews the numbers a little bit. Looking at Baltimore, though, number 11 ranked scoring offense, 23.7 points per game. And although Buffalo's scoring defense is 7th, Baltimore's scoring defense is tied for 24th. So I can see points being scored in this game is really what it comes down to. And again, we have the public and the sharp data to go ahead and go off of here. And it seems like the public and the sharp are aligned. Looking at this over 46.5, Buffalo has cashed it in 5 of the last 10 games, including 3 out of 5 games this year. Again, they cashed the over by themselves, literally, last week. And then they went and cashed the over against Arizona week 1. They did miss the mark week 2 against Miami. Looking at Baltimore, they've cashed in all 3 games this season. All 3 of their games have had a total of 47 or higher so far this season. That's a count of their defense not being great as well as their offense scoring a lot of points. So pretty solid spot here, I think, on the over. Guys, real quick before we finish off with the few player props I have in this game, a quick little word from our sponsors at FanDuel. That's right, guys. FanDuel Sports and Guy Boston Sports are partnering to bring you this very special offer for new customers. When you use the link down below in our description and bet $5, you get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Let me say that one more time for the people in the back who weren't paying attention. If you are a new customer and you use the link down below in our description and bet $5, you get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's free money, guys. You can go ahead and throw on picks, whether it be my picks or whatever you want to go ahead and throw them on. It's free money to go ahead and make some more money off of the free money. It's very simple, guys. It's a really great offer provided by FanDuel here. With football season in full bloom, with MLB playoffs coming up, with NBA coming up, these bonus bets will come in handy. I guarantee you that. I know they come in handy for me. That's for sure. So go ahead and check that out. Link down below in the description. Special thank you to FanDuel for partnering with us for today's video. All right, guys, jumping back into the video here. Our third pick, we're going to our first player prop of the video, and I'm not going to go too much into this because I've already kind of talked about the weakness of Buffalo's run defense and why I think it's a little suspect here. I'm going with Derrick Henry, over 68.5 rushing yards, available from -113 on FanDuel, also available on varying sports books for varying odds. Again, you use that offer that I just talked to you guys about. That's free bonus bets you can go ahead and use on this very pick. And the data is solid here. You see actually literally you see the line going up each of his first 3 games with the Ravens. 2 out of 3 times he's cashed. So he's averaging 93.67 rushing yards per game. He had obviously his breakout game last week with 151 yards versus Dallas, 84 versus Las Vegas in week 2, and 46 in week 1 versus the Chiefs. He literally could do half of what he did last week, and he cashes this over. Just an FYI. So half of what he does last week gives us a hit. Again, I just don't know about this Bills run defense. Overall, it's ranked 16th. It gives up 118 yards per game. This is the number 1 running offense in football, or second best running football in offense with 203.3 rushing yards per game. I just don't think Buffalo is going to be able to handle this running attack, and I think Derrick Henry is going to have a very big game versus this Bills defense. Looking at the insight provided by Outlier, Derrick Henry has exceeded 68.5 rushing yards in 8 of his last 9 games at home, averaging 92.4 rushing yards per game at home, 89% hit rate. And again, some of that goes back to his days with the Titans, yes, but I think it's still pretty relevant here. When he's at home, the guy can run, man. And Derrick Henry, even at this point in his career, is one of the most dangerous runners in the NFL. I like the spy here. And our next pick, guys, is a FanDuel exclusive prop. It's available for -114 on FanDuel. We're going Lamar Jackson here, over 264.5 passing plus rushing yard combo. It's a 100% hit rate so far this year. Now, unlike Derrick Henry, when we've seen a decrease each week in this number, but he has cashed it in all 3 weeks. He's averaging 318.67 pass plus rushing yards per game. And I was going to actually just bet his rushing yards straight up again, going off of the fact that I don't really trust this Bills defense specifically on the ground. I was going to take Lamar just in rushing yards alone, but I figured I'd go ahead and pair that with the passing yards here. He's had at least 45 rushing yards in all 3 games this season. Now, his passing yards have varied, and you've actually seen a pretty steady decrease. So he had just 182 passing yards last week versus the Cowboys. However, their pass defense is more their strength than their run defense is. Kind of a similar situation here with Buffalo, but I think a lot of yards are coming in. If we think the over is going to hit, we think it's going to be a high-scoring game here. Lamar getting this over in yards seems pretty reasonable. He did hit this at a 61% hit rate last year as well. 11 out of 18 games last season, he cashed the over, averaging 282.06 total yards per game last season. So there's quite a bit of data to go ahead and back this up. In dating the last 6 games of last year, 5 of his last 6 games, he did cash the over. And then one more player prop here, guys, before we have our anytime touchdown giveaway contest / prop pick. We've got Josh Allen here, over 20.5 completions. That is -130 on DraftKings. Also available on multiple other sports books if you guys can get it. Prize Picks, BetMGM, Bet365, Underdog, Caesars. But again, DraftKings was one where most people are probably going to get this at -130. Last year, he hit a 63% hit rate. Pretty good numbers. And so far this year, 1 out of 3. But you look at last week, 23 passing completions last week versus Jacksonville. Why I like this spot here is the insights provided by Outlier might be able to explain. Josh Allen has exceeded 20.5 passing completions in 5 of his last 6 games versus bottom 10 defenses for passing attempts, 24.2 passing completions per game, average 83% hit rate. Again, I don't know. I think this Ravens pass defense is their weakness. I think you can see a lot of passing. Their run defense is actually pretty solid. Again, looking at Baltimore's run defense, the number 1 run defense in the NFL right now. I think if Buffalo is going to stay in this game or even win this game, they need Josh Allen to throw the ball a bunch, and I think he is. 20.5 completions. I know he only cashed it once this year, but he did cash it at a 63% hit rate last year. So this is a line that he normally covers the majority of the time. I know so far this year that hasn't necessarily been the case, but 23 passing completions in their last game. I don't think it's crazy for him to go ahead and do that again this week. So pretty decent value there, I think. Buffalo is actually a 54% run rate this year versus a 46% pass rate. So they've actually been running it more than passing. But again, with the matchup here, I think you're going to see Buffalo throwing the football more than passing. So that fares pretty well for us here. All right, guys, and our final pick from today's picks. We're going Khalil Shakir here, anytime touchdown. And of course, like I said, guys, every single week for our Sunday Night Football picks, we'll be doing a Amazon gift card giveaway for anytime touchdown score props. All that has to happen, right? If Khalil Shakir cashes this prop, I will pick one lucky commenter who comments his last name, Shakir, down below to win a free $25 Amazon gift card. That's right. So go ahead. All you got to do is comment Shakir down below in the comments. And if this hits, I will pick one of those lucky commenters to win a free $25 Amazon gift card. We're getting it for plus 220 here on FanDuel. Again, you can use one of those bonus bets in the link down below to go ahead and ride this. Also available in multiple other sports books for plus money odds. So far, 2 out of 3 games this year, he's actually cashed. He had it one versus Jacksonville last week and in week 1 versus Arizona. We talked about already Baltimore's passing defense. We know it's not very good right now. And you scroll up below the matchup, touchdowns against overall, they're actually 20th. They're giving up 2.7 touchdowns per game. But versus wide receivers, bottom 4 in the league, 28th, giving up 1.7 touchdowns per game to opposing wide receivers. Khalil Shakir, I don't really know if there's a true number 1 receiver right now. It kind of feels like maybe it's Shakir. I don't know. They're still trying to figure out this receiving core a little bit in Baltimore. But so far this year, it feels like Khalil Shakir is the guy's last 5 games. Even dating back to last year, 4 of his last 5 games with Buffalo, dating back to last season, he's cashed the over, averaging 0.8 touchdowns per game over his last 5 games. So pretty solid data overall here for Khalil Shakir. I like the spot overall. Again, for plus 220, really solid value. So one more time, guys, please make sure to comment Shakir down below. And again, if that hits, that anytime touchdown prop hits, one lucky commenter will win a free $25 Amazon gift card. I'll obviously be back, guys, with another Sunday Night Football video next week. Those are all the picks. They'll all be down in the pinned comment down below. Thank you very much, as always, for watching, guys. Make sure to please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. Football season is in full bloom. It feels good. We're feeling good. We're riding high again. We've been a little shaky on the picks. I'll admit that. I've seen the comments. I read all the comments. I know I've been a little shaky on the picks, but I feel like we're ready to turn the corner here, and this could be the week that it happens. Again, we're not doing awful. Like, it's not like it's abysmal. We're 2-3 and 2-3. Again, it's not great, but we are handing out winners every week, at least a couple of winners every week. So feeling good here going into this Sunday Night Football game between Bills and Ravens. Guys, until next time, hope you're all winners. Enjoy Sunday Night Football. Let's go Baltimore.